Hello, welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm Robert Green, your host, and we're happy today to be joined by Dr. Shana Lee, who is director of our K-12 educational and support programs. Dr. Lee, welcome. Happy to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your office does for the College of Engineering?
So our office is, it focuses on K-12 students, meaning kindergarten through 12th grade. So all of the students that are in a traditional classroom. We want to do outreach, or we reach out to them through teachers and through other activities because we want to expose them to engineering and STEM. The younger we can expose them, the more we can direct them to a STEM pathway or hopefully to an engineering pathway.
What age do you typically start working with those students?
We start with kindergarten. We start with our summer camps in kindergarten, and they are also allowed to participate in our science and engineering fairs.
Okay. So you'd think that with the College of Engineering like we have here, we'd be fairly well known. Why is there this need to focus on STEM activities in K through 12?
So focusing on STEM activities helps promote critical thinking with students. So we're not necessarily always focused on a content, so we're not always talking about what engineering is, but more like how to think like engineers think and how to act more like engineers act. So teaching the students how to ask questions, why, and what is that for, or what happens if I do this or do that, and then their process of really becoming more of an engineer mindset.
Okay, so it sounds like we're not only getting some students to come into engineering, but even if they don't, we're helping create critical thinkers no matter what discipline they're in.
Absolutely, yes.
So there's been some talk now about STEM being too science, technology, engineering, and math focused, and not enough focused on art. So some people are talking about STEAM instead of STEM. What's your feeling about that and the importance of art, and I'd say humanities and social sciences in general?
Yeah, so actually it has progressed into STREAM, which incorporates reading or literacy as well. So like you mentioned, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. With the arts you might think you are working with glue and scissors and things, and that might be true with kindergarten and the lower levels, but really you're trying to get students to think more creatively, because those more creative thinkers are really our innovators in the future. And so promoting that creative thinking with arts is very important. Reading is not necessarily focused on can you read a word, but more, are you literate in that subject? So do you have a scientific literacy? Do you understand what it means to think like a scientist and think like an engineer or think like a mathematician? And so whenever we're talking about those acronyms, it really just means, again, a process of thinking. So I believe it's very important to add all that we can and to reach all of the students that we can, and hopefully grab those different interests that they have and promote STEM. So.
Mississippi State University is a very diverse university, and the College of Engineering is even a very diverse college. But we suffer like every other engineering program across the nation in terms of having as many minority and female students as we would like to have. Why do you think there's that issue with minorities and women being involved in engineering or in STEM fields in general?
So there is a big difference. I do believe that we have closed the gap a bit. Research in the past has shown, over the past 30 years, we just haven't had students seeing themselves in roles. So what I mean by that is there were less female and diverse engineers or scientists 30 years ago. So not being able to see someone in a role, so a female in a role, actually helped with the attrition. And the more roles that we were able to create and to bring females and diverse populations in, the more we're able to show those populations you can be these things. So now they are seeing these roles better. But there's also research that it bounces back to a more kind of a personal level. So engineering in elementary, there's been research done where teachers tend to call on male students more when it comes to STEM questions. And so teachers are now being pushed to make sure that they're aware and call more on the females and the diverse students. And in addition to that, the females tend to be more timid whenever they're in a group with males working on some sort of STEM activity. So splitting gender and letting the females work in a group and the males work in a group has also helped improve the interest in STEM. So with the further research and education, I think that we are able to start making improvements toward that, and we definitely have a gap to continue to fill. So hopefully we do.
Yeah, good. Are there any tips or advice you would have for parents or K through 12 teachers, things they could do to encourage or at least perhaps not discourage some of those students from pursuing STEM careers?
Right. So definitely don't discourage. Always encourage asking questions, and that goes back to the critical thinking skills. So if a student is wondering maybe they want to be an engineer, encourage them to look more into that. So I taught a college and career course in a high school, and I did a little survey at the beginning of the semester where I asked the students what they want to be when they grow up. Overwhelmingly responses were doctor, lawyer, engineer, and musician. And I took those 4 categories and broke them down into different pathways that you could do. So instead of just engineer, what does it mean to be an engineer? And I introduced all of the different pathways that there are to offer. And towards the end of the semester, I asked the question again, and I got more direct answers. So maybe chemical engineer, or more specific, a biomedical researcher instead of a doctor. So just pushing your students as teachers and as parents to explore more, and don't just stop at that general label.
Okay, that's good advice. I know you're busy all year round. I see you working a lot in the office, but perhaps you're particularly busy in the summer with summer camps and all. Can you tell us some about the summer camps that your office sponsors and what age groups are involved there? And
Yes. So we have an exciting summer coming up. We've got 6 day camps that we're hosting on campus, and that's with the sponsorship through Chevron Create. And so we will offer 6 different camps for grades kindergarten through 12, and they're 2-day camps. That information will come out soon. So if you're interested, just go onto our website and you'll be able to find the information.
okay, can you give us that website?
The website is Bagley. Wait, what is the website?
So
bagley.mstate.edu/outreach.
Outreach.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where they can find it.
Yes.
And I know there is a cost associated with some of the camps.
$25, and it's a
okay.
first come, first served basis.
Okay.
So that's all.
And I would say apply early, because I know they do fill up
very quick.
very quickly, and,
Yes.
and they're very good, and the students seem to have a good time while they're doing it. Another thing your office does is something near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure to a lot of our viewers, participating in science fairs. And I know your office is very involved in sponsoring the regional and even participating in the state science fair here. Tell us something about the science fairs and what all you do for that.
Okay, so there's 7 different regions in Mississippi, and we're Region 5. We cover 16 counties in East Central Mississippi. So those schools in those counties come to us and participate. We have a kindergarten through 5th grade level, and then a 6th through 12th grade level. Once they participate at our university, 7th through 12th grade can advance to the state level. And in addition to that, we choose 2 finalists a year to go to the International Science Fair. And the International Science Fair is widely overlooked by a lot of just students and teachers alike because they're not sure what it is. But there's over 80 different countries who attend. It's like the Super Bowl of science fair. And when you put it on your scholarship resume, it looks really, really good. So I've had students who were on the wait list for MIT before, and they were accepted as a finalist to the International Science Fair. When they added that to their resume, they were accepted the next day. So it's very competitive, and there's a lot of different scholarships that you can earn as well. So we will host ours in March and April.
Okay, and a lot of students will be on campus for that.
Yeah.
I know one thing you're always looking for are judges for that.
Yes.
How can someone get involved as a judge, and what might they expect to do as a judge for the science fair?
So you can visit the website as well to find our judging portal and sign up, or you can contact the office. We're looking for people who will encourage and mentor students. Most of the students, it's their first public speaking event, so they're very nervous. And we also want people who will give feedback and encourage the students to continue working in STEM-related fields.
I've been a judge at the region, the state, and the international level, and it's very rewarding. So I would encourage anybody who's thinking about being a judge to do it, and you really get to meet some nice, interesting young people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what about the student who's struggling? They have to do a science fair project, but they don't know what to do. What advice do you have for them? How can they pick a good topic?
I say whatever questions you have that you want to explore, don't be afraid to do that. Don't get overwhelmed with the internet and looking up what you think is the best topic, because I guarantee someone else is doing the same thing. So if it's something in your backyard where you have a question and you want to explore, or if it's something that maybe your dog or your family members are struggling with and you want to explore that some more, do what is important to you. Don't try to overreach the boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds fun. Can you give us, in say a minute or so, what is it that makes the difference between that science fair project that's good and that project that's going to win and get to advance perhaps to the next level?
Unique. So again, that goes back to what do you like to do. If you choose something that's unique to you, then you're going to explore it. It's going to be something that you know and you learn, and when you talk to the judges, they're going to see that, and they're going to see that passion that you have, and it's going to improve your score.
Okay.
So.
Well, Dr. Lee, I want to thank you for joining us today, and thanks for all the great work you're doing for the Bagley College and helping encourage our K-12 students to get involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. I want to thank you all for joining us for this edition of Momentum, and look forward to talking to you again next month. Please do go visit the website and get involved as a science fair judge, if nothing else, and help reach out to some of our K-12 students. Thank you.